So today we'll discuss on the configuration part of this SPL. So last class we discussed on how the SPL, what is the process of the SPL at sanction part list. So we will see the configuration here. I'm just going to the SPRO. Okay, global credit services. So this SPL is a second application area within your compliance management. Okay, so the second application area within the compliance management is sanction part list screening. So in the GTS, so whatever application you want to do or you want to run, so there should be one legal regulation. Okay, that legal regulation we have to create in the general things. So I'll just create one legal regulation for the SPL also. I define legal regulation. Go to new entries. That's Z underscore SPL. That's a sanction party list. Okay. For Germany, I'm just saying. And legal code should be always 00. So when you are running for compliance management, the legal code is always a 00. So all the compliance management which we have a embargo, we have a license check and SPL. So for all the three, so we have to use only 00. So export and import, you just say if it is specifically for export you are using, you can just put an 2. If it is for import, you put 1. And if you want for both, you can just put 3. And assign deadline type. So here you have to assign valid from and valid to dates. So this valid from and valid to will ensure that this SPL, the validity of this SPL, this legal regulation. So when you are entering or when you are creating the SPL data, so this valid and valid from and valid to dates are mandatory. So if you are not having this valid from and valid to here, again the same the SPL data also is valid from and valid to will not be available. So that's why we have to enter this dates here in the legal regulation. So country groups, if you want to use the same legal regulation for multiple country groups, then you have to check this, choose this. So after this SPL creation or definition of SPL, so we have to activate this SPL. So this next step is activation of our legal regulation. So here from which country to which country. So we have 4 combinations here. This departure country and the destination country to destination country. It can be destination country or destination country group, or it can be destination country to destination country group. So these are the combinations, 4 combinations we can find. So you can enter either 4 combinations or 1 value. The system will try to find any successful value from the transaction document and it will trigger this legal regulation. So what is this legal regulation basically? Legal regulation is nothing but it's a rules and regulations which each exporting country has to follow. Okay, so now when we are dealing the application area SPL, so there are some rules and regulations that exporting country and importing country should abide. So that will be defined in the legal regulation. Now just identify the legal regulation Z underscore SPL. So what is the country which you want to do here? It's just say Germany, for example. From Germany to India, I'll just put India here. Okay, I'll just save this. So that means we have activated from Germany to India here. So once we have activated this, so our main application settings which are part of your legal regulation and activation are done from the general settings perspective. Now directly you can go to the application area under the compliance management. So here first we have to activate for which partner we want to do. So we are doing it for vendor, we are doing it for customer. CPC is for customer, okay, and CPS is for vendor. So only we will be doing only for these two as a logistics perspective. And if you are doing it for bank and HR, you can just activate that BP role here. We will take for customer here. So BUPA is application for the customer business partner, and SLLCPC is nothing but in the business partner we have assigned the BP rule as CPC. So then system will automatically find all the customers within this CPC for the screening purpose. Okay. And what is the type of block here? Type of SPL block is process is interrupted and system removes the block, and process is not interrupted, system activates the block. So that means if any business partner, for example, let's say this business partner is identified as SPL master, identified as SPL master. So then process is interrupted and system removes the block. So that means there will be initially the block will be set. So when the document is transferred from R3 to GTS, at the time itself the customer master, the business partner, will be scrutinized with your SPL data if SPL data is available. Okay. So once the SPL data is available, then the system will compare the business partner with SPL, and if there is any match found from the configuration, system will automatically set a block. So that block, when you are running any transaction with such business partner like sales order using that particular partner, then the system will, what it will do is it will remove the block from the customer master and it will transfer to your transaction. So that is the meaning of this. The second one is process is not interrupted and system activates the block. So the block, whatever the block remains at the business partner will be seen, but it will not shift the block from the business partner to the transfer. In the first place, it will transfer the block from the business partner to the transaction document, that sales order. When you put as a 0, then system will activate the block only at your business partner, but it will not shift it to sales order level. So it is little bit complex. So real time what they will do is they will just activate only one. When they will use 0 is 0 they will use only if you want to scrutinize the business partner and you will block it. But if you don't want to do a transaction, then 0 will be fine. But if you want to do a transaction, then you have to always put 1. So for example, if I say FI transactions or your HR transactions, so in those cases you can just put 0. It doesn't matter. But whenever there is a transaction, you have to always use one option here. So there is a asynchronous and synchronous functions. Asynchronous is nothing but it's a online call. So whenever a transaction or whenever customer is created, or it will go to the business partner and it will activates the block, or it will just screen with the BP data. Asynchronous is it's only just using a batch job or any separate program you want to call all the business partners into the GTS for screening. So that is asynchronous. Synchronous and asynchronous is one is online or one is a job. Okay. Are you clear on this too? Okay, so what are the applications that would be? Yeah, any question?
No, please carry on.
So what are the business applications we want to use this? So SLL CPC always it will be logistics. It's nothing but your SG, and all, as I said, there are other applications where this screening can happen. It's an employees and applicants and accounting, financial. So since we are concerned more into the logistics part, so we will just put logistics. So enhanced authorization in sanction part list area. So this will, if you activate this, so that means the BUPA sanction, the transfer will only done by the user who is having the authorization. Okay, so normally this will not be done. So this is the first configuration of what we have to do. So after this, assign determination procedure for active legal regulation. So you put one determination procedure. It doesn't matter whatever it is, because it will not control anything. Only thing is the activation of a legal regulation. So last time also I discussed this. What is the difference between the activation here and activation in the general settings? Can you just tell? So here also we have the 4 combinations. Here, there in the general settings also 4 combinations. So what is the combination? What is the purpose of doing this here? You got idea? See here. We have done the general settings here in the legal regulation. Activation of legal regulation in country and country group level. This we have done. And also we have done this activation of legal regulation at a complete at application area level. So do you remember what is the difference between these two?
One is that master this.
Yeah, see, at the application area level, so what is the activation means is you are just seeing whether it's executed input. So this check you will be doing. So this check will not be there at your the general settings level. Okay? So this is only a difference. This is a major difference what you are doing there. So if definitely this will be asked why you are doing it 2 times. So control procedure. So as I said, the comparison index will be here. So this is nothing but your comparison index. So you can just take one of the comparing say an index here. So on which language you want to compare, you can just put the comparison index and what is the address version. So this address version will be international version. So the person can be in different addresses like Arabic, Hebrew, Chinese. Okay, Kanji, Chinese traditional, Katakana, Cyrillic, and Thai. By looking into this version, how can you make a difference from the English language? But basically, why SAP has given a separate provision for only these languages? Can you just tell why there are no German language or why there is no other languages like for example French, Spanish? So why those are not there?
I think these countries export they are using this language like our documents and all.
No, no, no. See, this is only language I'm saying. I'm saying this is
Okay.
even if you find this in the customer mastery in your SG also.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
These are there. So why we don't find the international addresses versions for German language, French language, Spanish language? Why only a Chinese traditional, Hangul, Greek? These countries are there, or these languages are there. So if you observe these languages, there will be always having some special characters. So these are nothing but Cyrillic characters we used to call. Okay. So I will just give an example. Okay, if you say, if you take Russian language, not only Russian, so all the Ukrainian language, everything is treated as Cyrillic. So what will happen? There will be some dots will be there. If you just go with some of the Russian language, I will just say. See, there are some special characters will be there. Maybe here I'm not finding, so we'll just see Chinese traditional. Some special characters. So these special characters are which SAP has identified specially because using these special characters, SAP servers or SAP printers are not initially they have not identified. Okay, so based on initially when SAP has written their language, so they just identified them as a normal characters, but there are some special characters. So where SAP cannot identify those characters, so that's why they separately released some other versions. You know, if you see traditional Chinese, in that there is always difference from your traditional Chinese to the Chinese language. If we go, if I come here, I'll just see here normal Chinese, okay, Mandarin. Okay, so I think this some of this character or some of the phonetic word is not recognized initially when the SAP is launched the character into the SAP server. So then they identified them as a special characters and they clearly hard coded these values. So that's why these are separately called as a Cyrillic characters and special characters. Only these values will be found in any kind of address, even it is not only for GTS. This is found in your SRM, SCM, anything. Only these are the international versions. So where they are specially recognized and additional language versions are added into the SAP to identify the to make sure that the correct spelling is read. So if you take this, if you just maybe if one word is missing, so instead of this good morning, it will go with some other meaning. So that's why SAP has come up with some additional languages. So now also in our case, so we are just telling that whether the address version we have to compare is falling under any of this language. So if you are doing it for Russia or Ukraine, so you have to just make sure that this language is there. So why we are doing here? Like for example, we have a name called Joseph K. Murphy. Okay, so that name was written in the Cyrillic character in the local address of the Russian language. So when we are comparing with SPL data, so we get the SPL data only in the local language, it will not be converted language, right? So when we are comparing, so we are comparing the business partner data with SPL data, the system will automatically try to compare the converted version. So then when it is comparing, sometimes it may not be correct value. So that's why we have to find out this Cyrillic character which is correctly given, it's correctly entered. If this value is not there, then system may not recognize. Maybe if you are working for any Chinese invoice layouts and all, you will find this kind of a difference. Some characters are not recognized by CP initially. So there will be some junk characters will come. Hope you have find that scenario. So always some Chinese characters or silly character you can see in the printout like this. Do you ever see this kind of a scenario? For whatever the Chinese name you are seeing, if it is not recognized, it will be shown like this. Then you have to come and find inside these characters. Then it will be recognized.
Yeah, Hebrew used to see in Israel.
Yeah, it will be like this only. So whatever the language we are entering here, it's not only Hebrew or Arabic. It will be wherever there is a Cyrillic character, special character, it will be recognized like this by the CP. So that means it is not recognized. So then you have to come here and enter in the customer master the correct version. So then it will recognize properly. So here also the same thing. So when you are comparing with SPL data, so what Cyrillic character you have to enter here. So then the system will automatically try, because for example, if you have entered something Joseph K. Murphy and it's not a Cyrillic. So what will happen? The system will compare with your SPL data which is in language, which is not Cyrillic. Okay, so there will be always mismatches, right? So whatever you enter here, and there is also the intention of SPL data is also Joseph K. Murphy. But since it's a not Cyrillic character, it will be given some dots are misplaced here and there. So the system will see that okay, it's not matching and it will release the document. So there is always a risk. So that's why we have to always use these characters if you are doing with any of these country languages. So now search term. This is a search term margin. So what is the basis for your comparison? Normally, what you are going to compare? If it is a customer master, what you are going to compare?
Name, name one and like
Yeah,
addresses.
name and name two. These are all from where? It's a business
Master
partner.
data. Yeah, partner, business partner.
Used
Yeah.
to what called as a business partner. Okay. Basis for comparison exclusively from sanction partner list or comparison exclusively from business partner or both ways. So normally we want only sanction partner list because we want to compare SPL data, business partner data with SPL data. So it is not other way, right? So we don't want to compare only the business partner. The business partner data to business partner, it's we are comparing our own data with our own data again. because business partner is nothing but it is data what we entered in the R3.
Yeah.
Okay, so basis for comparison, the SPL and business partner in parallel. So that means we want to compare SPL data with the business partner and business partner with SPL. So this third option is also okay, we can use this, but only problem, what will happen? It will increase the system, it will load on your system performance because it has to compare reverse way also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's what the main use is SPL data. So conditional eliminate of a duplicate characters and include initials of a name. So what does it mean? It's when you are creating the data, so you will be having the customer master will be having some additional value of some additional character. Let it open. I will just show you. So SPL data, this is SPL data. Okay, this is SPL data. So here I'm just going to Joseph K. H. Murphy. So but here it is showing us. So what system will be doing? So this is not actual data. So this is data which customer has provided, but this is a data which the country has provided. So we have to map this always with this data. This data is always compared with this data. So initially when we are comparing, so what will happen? Murphy, if you take this Murphy, here we have only one H and here we have two H. So if you check this box, so what system will do? Initially it will compare with the 2H and it will the second time run. So this indicator is there. Then what system will understand? Okay, I have to do the check again by eliminating if any duplicate words are there. Check this box, and system will come and compare this word by removing the duplicate. So this in this way it will compare, it will remove the duplicates. The second run will only just put one H and it will compare. It is not only for Murphy, maybe in this case if you have a Joseph as HH or PP. The first run it will compare with the PP and second run it will compare with only one P. Okay, and it will write down the audit for the two cases. So that is the elimination.
Come again, Santosh?
The elimination is whatever the duplicate letters, like additional letters which are added. In this case, if you see Joseph Murphy, MURPHHY.
Yeah.
So what system will do? It will just first run with the PHHY with the SPL data, and it will give. Let's say here we have a how many letters? MURP 4, 5, 6, 7. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So within the 7 letters, so how many are matching?
6 are matching.
So 6 are matching. So that means it is almost some 80% it will give.
Yes.
Okay, here in this case, out of 6, all the 7, no, here it is, I think 1 is missing. Okay, here it is 6 are matching out of 7. So it is out of 6.
100%.
Yeah, it is 100%. I'll just put 6 out of 6. So which is 100%. So let's say for example, in your master data or in your data, if there is
It's fine.
uh, 06-7, I will just put like this. Or even this is also not taken.
It's fine. No issues.
Okay. So in your configuration, if somebody has put only I want 95% to be matched. So what will happen? It will ignore this value, right? It will ignore this value and it will give this value. Okay, so that is what you have to just see. But if this elimination is not there, then what system will do? It will ignore. It will give the 80% result. And this Joseph A. Murphy, even though he is found in the SPL data, he was glazed by the system. So that means he was treated as a good customer, and any transaction created with this partner will go for customs declarations. There you will be caught. So that's why we are doing like second run check. Include initials of the name. Maybe your initials of the name in the sense it's you will be having Christopher John J Christopher.
So like in real time it should be 100% matching, no? Or even if your sister release also.
70%. 70% it's a mandatory. 70% should be there. Some countries they will put 65 also. So based on the number of our systems. So now we are only
But,
doing the name one. So but including name to such your post office everything, they will put 65 to 70.
okay, but in that case, like in customs place, there won't be an issue. Like even if you 70% any 1 or 2 letter mismatch will happen, like in real time.
No,
Even in system,
75% is nothing but if 75% of the data is matching or 70% of the data is matching, that means so whatever the less value you are putting, so there will be more blocks will come.
okay, okay.
So that
But
means
it
60.
won't.
So that means there will be a lot of documents will go for a block based on the 65%. So that means here 65% if you find the data is matching, so it will go for a block. So
Okay.
again for that particular document, you have to run the special checks from your legal team. They have to check with your master data or the country legal unit, see whether this is real-time block or not. So then you
Okay.
will get a confirmation that this is not a real block. So then you will remove and allow the transaction to proceed further.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Okay. So now the second initial whatever I put here is J include initials of the name. So John Christopher. Here you are saying a J Christopher. So it's showing as a John Christopher. So in this case, what system will do is it will just wait for the real value John Christopher. What is the J value? If you just check this, the system will not allow you to write this kind of initials. It will just ask you to enter the complete. So or else it will give a vague data, vague result. Okay. This is second option. And the third option is this is a text server. So what I told you here is this 80%, 100%, 90% the matching what system has compared. So it should be stored in some tables or it will be stored in the repositories. So that repository is nothing but in SAP terminology it is called the text. Text is nothing but is online. It will be having the text repository where even if you compare, like for example, if it is in runtime tables, so what will happen once once we have created this transaction, SPL check is done, so it will be written in the runtime. So it is once you come out of the transaction, it will not come. But if you want to put it in the tables, what will happen? Every day you are running 1 lakh records, so your database is increasing, right? So that's why we have a Trex. It's online server. So it's a cloud based. So where it will just go and hit into your cloud server whenever any particular Joseph K. Murphy, the customer number. So for example, his number is 1000 customer number. So if you are comparing second time again with this customer, it will just see what is the result which I posted into the Trex server. If it is a positive, then it will ignore this. If it is negative, then it will again run this. So that's the main purpose of the Trex server. Are you clear on this? What is the Trex functionality of a Trex?
No, can you quickly
Yeah.
come? No.
See, for example, this is 1000 customer number and we compare against the SPL customer and
Okay.
the result we achieved is 95%. So that means this
Okay.
customer is positive.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so our negative customer, basically it's 95% matching is nothing but negative customer. So this customer number, the system will put as a negative in the tricks.
Okay.
So when you're running a transaction, sales order, again the sales order level, it has to go with all the SPL data. Instead of going to the SPL data, it will go to the tricks and see, okay, this 1000 is already declared as negative, the sales order transaction will go for a block immediately.
Okay.
So if this is not there, so what will happen? So again, this Joseph K. Murphy, it will come with the Joseph. Okay, it will go with the second line K, and it will go
Okay.
with the third line Murphy, and it will compare.
Okay.
It will compare everything with
Okay.
it. So this already this comparison is done at the business partner at synchronous level. So initially when business partner is created, this conversion is already done and written as a 95%. But system has not saved anywhere. It has just given that the result is 95%. So it's a wrong bad customer. So, but when you are running a transaction with this, so each and every sales order, again the system will try to block split like this and compare with the split data. So what will happen? If you have 1,000 transactions created with this particular customer, 1,000 sales orders. So for each and every sales order, it will divide this and it will compare with the split data. So how much time it will take? Even if it takes 2 seconds also, so you are wasting some 2,000 seconds. It's almost 20 minutes, for example. Right? So that's why we have a concept here called the TREX, which is a server where the data will be stored into the TREX. So whenever any transaction is created with this particular 1,000 customer, it will go and look into the TREX server to see if this map, if there is any matching or any record obtained from here. If it says negative, automatically this transaction will go for a block. So immediately, it will go for a block. It will not come and look into the SPL data again. It will just go into the text chat. Are you clear on this?
Yeah.
So that's what you have to activate the text server and the matching rate. So what is the matching rate? This will be posted into a text. So this separate server which is linked into the GTS, but you have to activate the business functionality. Okay, so whether you are doing a phonetic search options or not. What is the phonetic searches? I'm just saying, always checking with Joseph, if you don't mind. So what is this? This is special character where you not syllable will be there, but there is no sound. Do you have any sound for this hyphen? You will not call Joseph K. Murphy, right? When you are spelling this word, you will not call this as a Joseph K. Murphy. You will just say Joseph K. Murphy. So but the letter is having some special functionality. So it's phonetic character. So it will be differentiating the two words, but it is no special meaning. So those are all treated as a phonetic characters. In your SPL data we have so what system will do? It will compare with the K Joseph hyphen K Murphy with Joseph K Murphy. And since hyphen is missing here, it will just say it will reduce the or it will increase your performance, right? It will increase your not performance, it will increase your match code. So instead if your K is there, so like for example it has found 50%. When the hyphen is there, it has found only 50% matching. So that means it is just 50%, so it will remove the block. But if you want to find the value or if you want to compare the customer master with the SPL data by removing this K also, so it is getting obtained the value of 80%. So that means you have a chances to identify this customer as a SPL data. So that's why there are some special characters. Not only this hyphen. So if you see here, there are some special characters like Joseph. Like this also you will find, right? So these are the special characters. Some names, if you go for Canada and all or European Union, there will be, you will find this kind of names. So you are asking the system to compare the names by removing the special characters also, which does not have any meaning. So that is what this phonetic characters. Are you clear?
Yeah. Yes.
So the next is detail control. So within the detail control, you will say what country, what are the options you want to find, whether it's a city, country, name, street, or you want to find out by the postal code, so you can add. Normally in the real time also we will see name one, city, country, and street. If you want anything region or any other special characters, you can just add region, country, key, PO box number, or any other ID number. Okay, so this is logical operators. Any of these or combination you want to check. If you say logical operator and, so that means it will be compared with the name and the state. If you say O, so any one will be sufficient. But we will be say we will put always N. So that means all the 4 combination system should find. If anything is matching, so that means if you are increasing the search term more, so the chances of risk will get reduced. Okay. So these are the fields. These are all always coming from ADRC table. So here also the ADRC table and the city, ADRC table, country, this table and field. Okay, so this is a comparison procedure. So once comparison procedure is done, so you just go to the control settings here, find out our legal regulation. So this is a list type. So what are the list type? So I told there are some government agencies which are releasing the value data to the data providers. So those agencies are termed here in SAP GTS as a list type. Okay. So you can see here FBI or CBI, whatever data you want. Okay, so maximum number of index entered per object. So for name one, you will just say, okay, 99 characters system can enter. So that means the name one can, now here you see how many characters Joseph is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you see in 99, so the system can enter 99 special characters as a name one. Address
Okay.
also you can see 99 or 999. This is maximum number.
This list type, there won't be any drop down from SAP standard, or we need to always need to enter, no?
Yeah, this standard, there will be standard entries are also there, but based on the country it will vary. Maybe FPI is nothing but it is in US. In India it is called
Yeah,
C.
yes. Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
in
Okay.
Germany it is called some other agency. That's why you have to
Okay.
just find out from country.
Okay. No, that F1 won't be working here, for a type of list. I'm you understood what I said?
You want technical name, huh?
No. This list type, generally, what all the standard list drop down
Yeah,
used to
this.
come now. This like if you some if you put F1 standard, they will provide no what are the list is available. This you typed FBI. Instead of that, if you put F1, this SAP used to provide no, like that it won't be there. I'm just checking. You got what I said?
Yeah. So those will be not be given. See, every country has their has its own, right. The four option is not.
Yeah, yeah,
The
correct.
four option, every country has its own nomenclature. So SAP cannot understand or SAP cannot determine what is there in the country. So some
Yeah,
countries will have 5 or 6 agencies. So even if it is
yeah,
not, it's not standardized one, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
you have
correct.
to.
Okay. Yeah, F4 if you are putting all countries will come now. Let's say if you are selecting country code, if you put F4, you will get all country
Once you have
code.
to define here, once it is
Okay,
defined here, then only you will get listed.
okay.
So since it says SAP is standard SAP, you will not find it's a raw data. In the real
Okay,
time, once you go to the country key and you will find it from your legal regulation.
okay. Okay.
Okay, so the next is reference type. This you can just put when you are creating the legal SPL data. If you want to find out, it's a kind of a search term. You just put like this. So in the SPL data, if you want to find out the SPL data using the for any of your customer, so you can just put this reference 1, 2, 3, 4. So all the SPL data which are under this legal regulation will you will find. Okay, assign June. So here you will be just assigning deadline types again, valid from and valid to. So valid from, and what is the time zone? So you can just put CAP or any other country. The same way, come back and you have to enter the second line. Your entry is valid. So why system is finding only these two dates here? Do you remember where did we enter the two dates? Valid from and valid to. So this we entered during our legal regulation creation, right? So only those two dates will be coming. So from the drop down. Do you remember in the general data we have entered only valid from and valid to, right? You don't remember? You don't remember? Okay, I'll just show you this legal regulation. So here see deadlines. Are you clear now? From where this valid from and valid to are coming here? So we entered only these two. So that's why they are also showing only two values. Clear? Okay, so I'll just take this SQL data. Address activation is just you are saying I want to activate the address, I want to compare the address. This is the address activation. Identification type, if you have any passport number or if you go for US Central, there are some social security numbers. So those numbers you have to add it here. And group is if you created the business partner as a group instead of the person, so then you have to add this. So only important thing is list types and deadline types. So only these two are important. Remaining all are just optional. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so then the next is we'll just go to, now you see here configuration, configure technical controls for web and publication. So now what we have done is for GUI level. So I was telling you there is also from the 11 version onwards there is a instead of this GUI version you can also use this web version, web client. So which is controlled by WebDrive applications. So if you want to use the WebDrive application, you can just come here and activate the settings for the WebDrive Pro. So instead of logging into the GUI client like this, instead of coming to the GUI client like this, you will be having a IP address. You can just put the IP address, or you can just put run the address here. Then you can just enter. Automatically, it will take you to the system. So this is from cloud based. So that is the option here. Are you clear? Is it clear for you, Rajat or somebody?
Yes.
Okay. So okay, so these are the just control settings, or I can say the configuration part of your SPL. So once the settings are done and we are clear on this, we can go with the master data, that's a corporate transaction. So here you see this corporate, and the first part is under the compliance management sanction party list. So since the sanction party list screen is divided into logistics, human resources, financial, and cross area, and master data. So logistics part, what all the logistics transactions will be screened here. If you go for human resources, all your HR master data screen will be done here. Financial reporting will be done here. And here the cross applications is just a reasons, trials and all. So master data is what kind of master data we are creating. So what is that? We are always saying that I want to compare my business partner with SPL data. So but where is that SPL data? How we will get SPL data? We will get the SPL data, as I said, from the data providers. So we have a MK denial or MK international. So these are the two data providers across the world. So there are some other corrects also. Okay, so these are the international data providers. Always you will find only these three. Wherever you go in the world, only these will be getting the data. MK denial, MK international. These guys will be having the data, so we have to get the data from this and maintain here. So you see here sanction party list. So we can manually maintain by creating the data, or we can load that XML file. He will be giving the XML file. This guys will be giving XML file for every 15 days or 20 days like this whenever you get an update. So Excel sheet, like this kind of Excel sheet you will get with all the customer number. I'll just say for example name. Okay, and the next field is address. Maybe I will say Germany or US. Second name will be Joseph. So maybe he is from again Canada. So you will get all the list of customers where it was declared as a sanction party list. So that you have to just upload here. If you want to enter manually, you can create manually also using this for what legal regulation you want to create and what is the SPA. And who is the data provider. Data provider, as I said, we have a MK denial and MK data. In the real time also, we have only this. Just take MK data and SPL number. I will just put 1, 2, 3. So valid from and valid to are mandatory. Why? Because you have just chosen them as a. Can you tell why this valid from and valid to are coming?
Yeah, it may change in future.
Yeah. So John, if you want to enter manually, we can enter manually here. John, what is the second Mataya? So this way you have to enter manually all the data. Whatever the data you have to enter. But it will be time consuming. If you have 1 lakh records, you cannot enter each and every record manually. So for this, what the SCP has provided is you have to just enter this is not entering. I will see this. Okay, and the country key is just say it is Germany. Okay, so then you have to just enter the country key here also. So that means now system has written the SPL data for these two countries. So this is the SPL data what we have to compare. Okay, so if you are trying to write each and every data individually, so it will take some time consuming, right? So instead of that one, what system is given as an option is you can enter them through XML. You can upload them as XML. So there's application layer and this is a front-end server. So front-end server is from your desktop. So you can just put something from here and you can load that into here. XML file will be converted here. But the application layer, there will be again FTP will be called, file transfer protocol. So they will upload the data into AL11 server. They will upload here in some path and this path will be called into the transaction. Okay. So this is application layer and front-end servers from your desktop. Sorry, clear on this too? So normally in the real time we'll go with the application layer, where AL11 transaction. So it will be uploaded, it will be called here, and from there it will be uploaded. Okay, so instead of this, you can also do it from your XI control. So maybe the data provider will be directly providing you as an IDOC. The message will come from the IDOC, but it will be very cumbersome onto the system. So normally you will do only with the XML format or this, and you will find out such log like this. So this is sanction party list data. Okay, so this is all about the master data, and you have to just go with the sanction party list screening, how the screening will happen. These are the say checks, different checks are there. I'll just show you all these checks. Maybe can we see it in the next class?
Yeah, sure,
Just
sure,
you
sir.
go and practice this so we can
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
whatever we have done, just go to the system and see. And if you have any questions, so then we can continue.
Okay.
Okay, so in the next class we will start with the transaction. You can understand how the data is happening or data screen.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Anush.